Welcome back to the Best Start Guide, guys. It is day 153, and last night something magical happened. I got 86 million on Clan Boss. I don't know what changed. I have no idea. I, I'm going to go over the champions right now, but somehow I got 86 million on Clan Boss. I'm not aware of having changed anything other than I cranked up the levels just a little because I've been running them in Minotaur. This is what the masteries looked like for these three. Um, Still don't have quite enough for. Man, I'm just one fight shy of being able to get War Master on Valerie. So this would crank up the damage even more. But even with them without all of their masteries, like none of them had War Master, still got 86 million. Uh, I'm amazed. Most of the damage came from the other two. Most of them came from Uragrim and Xeno Gray. Uragrim actually did more damage than Xeno Gray, which kind of surprised me, but maybe it shouldn't have. A lot of his damage is coming from his poisons. So I'm going to try running this again after the reset, which is coming. I don't know what else I'm going to do today. You know what? I could probably run Hydra because I did build Wixie for Hydra. So he's got his reflex on. I basically put him in reflex. I put Malkith Bloodflock in reflex. I wanted to get her in reflex, but somebody had to be wearing the shield set, and it had to be her. So I've been running her that way. Uragrim's in regen because my goal with Uragrim was to have him be able to solo in other content. I had to crank down his HP in order to get his defenses up. I could try cranking his HP back up, basically give him his old pieces back. Instead of defense pieces, maybe run one defense piece and one HP percent piece. But I'm not going to change anything on him yet. I want to get everybody's masteries finished. I want to do a proper clan boss run. So I will do a proper clan boss run that will hopefully work. So again, don't know if it's a fluke. I'm going to try to run it again this morning. And if it was a fluke and they fall short of the target, well, then I'll just have to run it again after, won't I? But basically, yeah, I mean, I got 86 mil. I'm very happy with it. This is one of the end game goals. Because when you can get more than 70.28 million, you can get a Sacred Shard, you can get a Legendary Skill Tome. I'm trying to get Wix built out so that he can be more consistent. He needs 11 books. He currently has no books. I need to book out this ability. So he needs at least 5 books. In the tavern, I've got 6. And in challenges, I actually have one more book that's sitting here. This is the final challenge. So when the challenges are complete, and the other thing is, I just need to upgrade 3 affinity bonuses. I could probably just upgrade the final bonus now. That'd actually improve somebody. I could take attack and say, okay, upgrade. I mean, normally I save these for CVC, but you know what? You know what? Let's just grab them. So we got it. We got the book. So I have 7 books now. And this tab, I guess this tab disappears. So that's it. That about wraps it up for the missions, the quests, the challenges. That's what's missing. That about wraps it up for the challenges. So let's do Hydra. I think that's what we're doing. Actually, you know what? Before that, I just want to, yeah, we're completely full on classic arena tokens. I just want to quickly go in. I don't know if you can tell. I just kind of jumped out of bed because I realized, you know what? The clan boss is about to reset. I don't want that happening. But before being able to show the evidence that this happened, because what if it never happens again? What if that's the only time it ever worked? Of course, if it's the only time it ever worked, it's not a terribly useful showcase of the Ultra Nightmare clan boss. But I am very I am very excited about it, if you can tell or not. But there are other things I can do. I have been meaning to do a Hydra fight, so let's do one. So I actually recently got just enough stone skin pieces from Hydra to get fully into stone skin. I can't say it's been a huge success, but I don't know, it's decent. His total stats, I'd rather get him to 100% crit rate because he's not super consistent right now. I'd rather get his damage up a bit. So I don't know. Also for Hydra and for standard clan boss, I was thinking of switching in the White Queen just because I noticed she's kind of perfect for it because she puts up the strengthen and the shield on the same move. She just wouldn't work right now because she's in bolster, and that means I had to trade her out of bolster, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to trade this up for regular shield stuff because bolster actually gives you healing every turn, and I really like to have regeneration on all of my reviver champs, right? So I'm glad I don't have to change her up. So she could probably be on the Hydra team, come to think of it. Just because she does the cleanse, she does a nice little protect. So let's go do Hydra. I don't think I've done Hydra. No, I got all my keys, so there's no way I've done it. So this was the test that I did last week. I think it got 3 million the first time I ran it. I'm kind of tempted to put the White Queen in this team. I don't know who I'd be switching out though. So you know what? Let's just run it again and see how well it does. So the theory is basically I'm having Wixwell open with his Deadbolt so that he has a chance to provoke the Head of Decay, so that the Head of Decay can't put out his annoying Poison Cloud, stopping you from being able to put any debuffs on him. But basically, I didn't even put any presets on anybody. I just made sure Wixwell opens with his A1. That's it. That's the only thing that matters. So we start the fight. I target the Head of Decay. This is the Head of Decay, right? Yep. And we just got to hit him first. So there's the provoke. So he's not going to spend his first turn cleansing the debuffs off. So when oh, they still got the Poison Cloud up. My Sun Wukong is too slow to beat him to the punch. So he gets the Poison Cloud up, but I'm at least still able to put up block debuffs. So they can't place a bunch of... except now he cleansed it, because I wasn't able to place Provoke again. Wow, I really messed this one up. Well, it was the last rotation that I ran. You know what? I think the last rotation didn't have Poison Cloud. So this doesn't work. So what I need to do is I need to be able to have Wixwell come in. Speed needs to be 190 to hit the Head of Decay before he gets his first turn. I mean, it looks like they may come around and eventually start to behave the way I'd want to, but they got to get through the Poison Cloud first. So what I want to do next time is have somebody who can place block buffs on everybody, which really is just Sun Wukong, so that means I'm going to get him faster, and I'm going to have to speed boost him. I might be able to bring in a second speed booster. So I could bring, say, the Batty Bat, Seeker. I could bring in Seeker, so he's got a 30% turn meter boost. She's got her 15% turn meter boost. And we'd be able to put up the debuffs right away. I mean, it looks like we've got more control over them now. Now we're at 1.1 million, which is enough. No, it's not. 1.6 is the minimum that you need to get the lowest order of chest. All things considered, even though I screwed up, I'm actually reasonably happy with this as an early game team. We're 5 months in, and we're able to consistently get the minimum chest on Hydra. Probably. He says, and then his party almost wipes. It does look like we're very close, though. Either way. So, for those of you familiar with RSL Helper, or those of you who are not familiar with RSL Helper, you can actually queue up Hydra fights and put in a minimum, and it'll just run Hydra again and again until you get the minimum required damage that you wanted. Usually by default, when you click on the minimum button, it'll just jump you straight to whatever the nearest million of minimum is, so I think it'd be 2 million on the lowest level. But you can set it to whatever number of million you want. So it looks like I'm having a lot of trouble getting my party members back. And my last DPS just disappeared. Wixie could do a reasonable amount of damage if he had all his masteries and everything. He just doesn't yet. Maybe I could run one more fight just to try to get Valerie her War Master mastery. I think I want to do that. So it has to be 1.66 something. I'm super duper close. And I think we didn't make it. We didn't even make it. So close, but it doesn't count. So free regroup. I'll try again at a later date because I do want to try to get the debuffs landing right out of the gate rather than struggling to get past the poison cloud first. That kind of sucks. So is it the reset? Check in. We check in. It's a new day. It's a new day. Is it new clan boss day? Yes, it is. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run Minotaur once. And just to make sure it goes to Valerie. So I'm not worried about leveling everybody anymore anyway. I'm just going to bring... Maybe I'll bring some more DPS as well. Yeah, we'll even bring Kale. All right, this way we could just focus on Valerie, because our levels are totally maxed. We can focus on anybody, but we'll focus on Valerie because I just want to do one fight. So now that if clan boss is really done, standard clan boss is really done, we're into the end game, as far as I'm concerned. It's just a question of, is it going to be consistent or is it a fluke? I don't know. I'm going to have to try it some more. I did fill out the mastery sheet somewhat since the last fight. I think the last test I may not have had any masteries on them yet. Or I may have had very few. Now I'm trying to remember. But 86 million for a team that's missing some of its masteries, that's really good. Now they are talking about a potential incoming nerf to Wixwell. I really hope they don't do that, because if they do, I don't really know what I'm going to do to salvage this. Like, if they nerf him and it makes this comp not viable anymore, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Plarium, you better not do that, because if you do that, I think a number of players are going to quit, and I might be one of them. I might just come on the day that they nerf Wixwell and he's not viable in Demon Lord Clan Boss, and there's no real reason to nerf him as far as I can tell. But if they do that, I may just have to come on and say, look, you moved the goalposts one too many times on me. So Plarium, don't do that, because I swear to God, I'm probably just going to quit. Because this was so much work. It was so much work getting to this point. And look, it's a book and a shard day. I didn't get a legendary book, but it's always exciting to get a book and a shard in the same chest, and I got it. I also got a 6-star piece. Wow. It's a really good piece, too. It's got crit damage, the main stat. It's got speed on it. It doesn't have crit rate on it, but it's still worth keeping on this account. So here's the test. We're going to run it again. We're going to see if it works. So come on, guys. Don't let me down. And they got to the limit. Much lower damage this time. Interesting, the disparity. And it looks like Xeno, I don't know, maybe Xeno went down this fight? Because last fight she did something like 35, 36 million, something like that. And Uragrim had like close to 40 million. So he did even more damage this time. I don't know what happened to Xeno. Xeno, what happened to you, my girl? Don't know. But yeah, the damage from these champions was pretty low. So Valerie now with all her masteries is still not scoring a lot of damage. So maybe the masteries aren't going to make that big of a difference. Maybe it all comes down to using some good DPS units. But that's it. I think that might even be all I've got for this episode. I'm gonna continue to work on Wixwell and the other champions. I'm gonna crank out the masteries. Yeah, Plarium, do not nerf Wixwell. If you do, I swear to God, I'm gonna quit because man, it's been so much work. I can't go through this again. I worked so hard to get the account to this point where I could one key Ultra Nightmare Clan boss. Do not nerf Wixwell. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.